July 24th, 2022. A Sunday afternoon in rural New Mexico. A 37-year-old man is working on a car at his home when a white SUV pulls up. Two young men get out. Within minutes, gunshots ring out. The man is dead. And when police investigate, they discover this wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a random act of violence. It was a murder orchestrated by a woman who wanted revenge on her ex-boyfriend. And she convinced two brothers, young men with no serious criminal history, to do it for her. One of those brothers would shoot the victim in the back. The other would help. And the woman who set it all in motion? She'd die in jail before ever facing trial. This is the story of William Johnson and the three people who destroyed his life over a breakup. Before we get into this case, if you want to stay updated on true crime stories that involve manipulation, betrayal, and the consequences of letting someone else pull your strings, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because this case shows how quickly lives can be thrown away when someone weaponizes a relationship, when anger turns into violence. When young people make decisions they'll regret for the rest of their lives. Drop a comment right now. Have you heard about the Chaffin brothers case? Because this one flew under the radar nationally, but the details are absolutely wild. Content warning before we begin. This video discusses murder, domestic manipulation, and gun violence. We also discuss a death that occurred in custody. If you're sensitive to these topics, please consider whether you want to continue watching. Let's start with the victim, because William Johnson deserves to be remembered as more than just a name in a police report. William was 37 years old in 2022. He lived in San Juan County, New Mexico, in the northwestern part of the state near the town of Farmington. San Juan County is high desert country. Beautiful landscapes, small communities. The kind of place where people know their neighbors and violent crime isn't common. William worked as a mechanic. People who knew him described him as a good guy, someone who wore his emotions on his sleeve. He was the kind of person who would help you fix your car, who would be there if you needed him. He wasn't perfect. Nobody is. But he didn't deserve what happened to him. In 2022, William was in a relationship with a young woman named Sierra Collins. Sierra was 21 years old, 16 years younger than William. Their relationship was rocky. According to what would later come out in court, Sierra had a way of manipulating people. She knew how to push buttons. She knew how to provoke reaction. And when the relationship with William started to fall apart, she didn't just walk away. She turned their breakup into a weapon. Sierra Collins was, by all accounts that emerged during the investigation, someone who could provoke extreme reaction. Defense attorneys would later describe her as having the ability to provoke the absolute extremes out of William Johnson. She knew he was emotional. She knew he cared deeply. And according to the defense, she played on that. She knew his vulnerabilities, and she used them. In the weeks leading up to William's death, the relationship between him and Sierra had ended. They'd broken up, but William was still doing work on Sierra's car. He was a mechanic, and apparently Sierra had asked him to fix her vehicle. So there was still contact between them, still interaction. And according to what police would later piece together, William had been sending text messages and making comments to Sierra. We don't know exactly what those messages said, but they bothered Sierra. And rather than blocking him, ignoring him, or handling it like an adult, Sierra decided to do something else. She decided to recruit someone to defend her honor, to confront William, to make him stop. Enter Tyler and Eli Chaffin, two brothers from San Juan County. Tyler was 23 years old. Eli was 19. They came from what seemed like a decent family. Their father later testified that he'd raised them with a strong work ethic. They'd been involved in 4-H and FFA, agricultural youth programs that teach responsibility and community involvement. By all accounts, these weren't hardened criminals. Eli had no substantial criminal history at all. Tyler had some prior issues. He was a convicted felon, which would become relevant later, but nothing that suggested he was capable of murder. Sometime in the week before William's death, Sierra met Tyler Chaffin. They started a relationship, and Sierra told Tyler about her ex-boyfriend, about William, about the text messages and comments. She presented William as a threat, as someone who was harassing her, as someone who needed to be dealt with. And Tyler, whether out of a desire to impress this new girlfriend or out of genuine concern or out of misplaced chivalry, decided he was going to handle it. And he brought his younger brother Eli along. The San Juan County Sheriff would later describe what happened as Sierra recruiting the brothers to essentially defend her honor against comments and text messages that have been made by her ex over the week prior. Think about that phrasing, defend her honor. Like this was some old-fashioned duel. Like William Johnson was some villain who needed to be confronted. But William wasn't a villain. He was a guy who'd broken up with his girlfriend and maybe was having trouble letting go. That's not a capital offense. That's not something that justifies what was about to happen. On Sunday, July 24, 2022, Tyler and Eli Chaffin drove Sierra Collins to William Johnson's home. The house was on County Road 3400 in San Juan County, a rural area outside of Farmington. The stated reason for the visit was innocent enough. Sierra needed to check on her car, which William had been working on. Just a simple errand. But the reality was something very different. It was around midday, maybe early afternoon. The exact time isn't specified in police reports, but we know it was before 12:03 p.m. because that's when the 911 call came in. Tyler and Eli pulled up to William's house in a white SUV. The vehicle belonged to someone in their family. A neighbor's security camera captured the SUV arriving, captured two men getting out. That footage would later become critical evidence. What happened next is where the stories diverge. We have what Tyler and Eli told police. We have what the evidence showed. And we have what William's family believes. Let's start with what the brothers claimed. According to the version of events that Eli Chaffin gave in court, he was sitting in the SUV when things started. Tyler got out of the vehicle and approached William. There was some kind of interaction, and then Eli heard a gunshot. He says he got out of the car and saw William Johnson reaching for a firearm. Eli claims he yelled at William multiple times to stop. William wouldn't stop. So Eli shot him multiple times, killed him. According to Eli, this was self-defense. He was protecting himself and his brother from an armed man. That's Eli's story. And if you take it at face value, it sounds like a tragic confrontation that spiraled out of control. A young man who thought his life was in danger and made a split-second decision to fire his weapon. But there's a problem with that story. A big problem. William Johnson was shot in the back. William's mother, Penny Johnson Jones, would later say in court, "When you shoot someone in the back, I don't know how you get more intentional than that." And she's right. You don't shoot someone in self-defense when they're facing away from you. You don't shoot someone in the back when they're reaching for a gun pointed at you. The forensic evidence contradicted Eli's claim of self-defense, and it painted a very different picture of what happened. The more likely scenario, based on the evidence, is this. Tyler and Eli showed up at William's house with the intention of confronting him. Maybe they didn't plan to kill him. Maybe they just wanted to scare him, to tell him to leave Sierra alone. But things escalated. There was a physical altercation. Tyler was involved in that altercation. He was later charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, suggesting he attacked William. And at some point during this confrontation, Eli pulled out a gun and shot William. Not because William was threatening them, but because the situation had gotten out of control and Eli made a choice that ended a man's life. William Johnson died on his property, shot multiple times, left bleeding out while Tyler and Eli fled the scene in their white SUV. A 37-year-old man who'd been working on a car, who'd been living his life, was dead because a 21-year-old woman had manipulated two young men into confronting him. At 12:03 p.m., the San Juan County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call. A gunshot victim at a residence on County Road 3400. Deputies responded immediately. When they arrived, they found William Johnson deceased. The scene was a homicide, and investigators immediately began trying to figure out who had done this and why. Witnesses in the area reported seeing a white SUV. Some had heard gunshots. One neighbor had security camera footage that captured the SUV pulling up, two men getting out, and the vehicle leaving shortly after. That footage was critical. It gave investigators a vehicle description, a timeline, and visual evidence of suspects. Detectives with the San Juan County Sheriff's Office began working the case. They canvassed the area. They interviewed potential witnesses. They reviewed the security footage, and they started looking for that white SUV. Through the course of the investigation, they were able to identify the vehicle. It was registered to family members of Tyler and Eli Chaffin, and that led detectives to identify the brothers as probable suspects. Investigators also learned about Sierra Collins. She had an ongoing relationship with William Johnson, or had until recently. She was someone who would have information about William, about his routines, about potential conflicts. So detectives brought Sierra in for an interview. They wanted to know what she knew. And what they learned during that interview, combined with evidence they collected through search warrants, convinced them that Sierra wasn't just a witness. She was a participant. She had orchestrated this. At approximately 9 p.m. on the same day as the murder, just hours after William Johnson was killed, deputies located the white SUV in Farmington, a nearby town. Tyler and Eli Chaffin were with the vehicle. Deputies arrested both brothers without incident. They didn't resist. They didn't flee. They were taken into custody and brought in for questioning. Based on the interviews with the brothers, the security footage, and the evidence collected from the scene and through search warrants, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office arrested all three suspects: Tyler Chaffin, Eli Chaffin, and Sierra Collins. The charges were serious. Eli Chaffin, age 19, was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Tyler Chaffin, age 23, was charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, felon in possession of a firearm, and tampering with evidence. The felon in possession charge was significant. It meant Tyler had a prior felony conviction and wasn't legally allowed to have a gun. The tampering with evidence charge suggested that after the murder, Tyler and possibly Eli had tried to hide or destroy evidence. Sierra Collins, age 21, was charged with accessory to first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The charges alleged that Sierra had helped plan the murder, that she had recruited the brothers, that she had facilitated the crime even if she hadn't pulled the trigger herself. All three suspects were held in the San Juan County Detention Center awaiting trial, and the case began its slow journey through the legal system. From the sheriff's perspective, this was a solved case. They had the suspects, they had the evidence, they had the motive, a relationship gone sour. Sheriff's Office spokesperson Burns said at the time, "This case appears to be relationship gone sour. The individuals that committed this crime don't have a substantial criminal history, and it's very sad that young lives were thrown away at this point over a breakup." And that's the tragedy of this case, isn't it? Young lives thrown away over a breakup. William Johnson, 37 years old, dead. Tyler and Eli Chaffin, 23 and 19, facing life in prison. Sierra Collins, 21, also facing life. All because a relationship ended, and instead of moving on like adults, they chose violence. The case sat in the legal system for 2 years, from July 2022 to July 2024. Delays in court cases are common, especially in murder cases. Both sides need time to review evidence, prepare their strategies, file motions, interview witnesses. The defense needs time to build a case. The prosecution needs time to make sure they have everything in order. So 2 years passed. Tyler and Eli sat in jail. Sierra sat in jail. And William Johnson's family waited for justice. In July 2024, the case finally moved toward resolution, but not in the way William's family expected or wanted. The Chaffin brothers, through their defense attorneys, negotiated plea deals with the prosecution, and those plea deals infuriated William's family. Tyler Chaffin, represented by attorney Arlen Stoker, pleaded no contest to second-degree murder, not first-degree, second-degree. That's a significant reduction. First-degree murder in New Mexico carries a potential life sentence. Second-degree murder carries a lesser sentence. By pleading no contest, Tyler wasn't admitting guilt, but he was acknowledging that the evidence against him would likely lead to a conviction. In exchange for the plea, Tyler would be sentenced to 15 years in prison, 15 years for his role in killing William Johnson. Eli Chaffin, represented by attorney Mark Kernut, pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, not first-degree murder, not even second-degree murder, manslaughter. That's an even bigger reduction. Manslaughter is a killing that occurs without premeditation, often in the heat of passion or under circumstances that reduce culpability. By pleading guilty to manslaughter, Eli was admitting he killed William, but he was framing it as something less than intentional murder. In exchange for the plea, Eli would be sentenced to just 6 years in prison, 6 years for shooting a man in the back. When William's family learned about these plea deals, they were outraged. They felt betrayed by the legal system. They felt like justice was being sold out, and they made their feelings known at the sentencing hearing. The hearing took place on July 31st, 2024, in front of Judge Curtis Gurley. Both Tyler and Eli were present. Their families were there. William's family was there, and the tension in that courtroom was palpable. Members of William's family stood up and addressed the court. His mother, Penny Johnson Jones, talked about how William had been shot in the back, how that proved this wasn't self-defense, how her son had been murdered, not killed in a justifiable confrontation. She said, "When you shoot someone in the back, I don't know how you get more intentional than that." William's sister, Stacy Troyer, said that the pain inflicted by the two brothers could never be reversed. She said they didn't deserve plea deals. They should answer for what they had done. She should face trial and be held fully accountable. But Troyer's most pointed comments were about the plea deals themselves. She said, These pleas were offered to Tyler and Eli without the family's consent, without telling anyone. She questioned how the Chaffin brothers had managed to get two of the best defense attorneys in town, Arlen Stoker and Mark Kernett, to represent them. The implication was clear. She suspected that money or connections had influenced the case, that the plea deals were the result of favoritism or corruption. Judge Curtis Gurley responded to those accusations directly. He said there was nothing untoward about the plea agreements. He said any suggestion that the deals involved money or improper influence was uncalled for. He told William's family, "I am sorry you feel that way, but I can assure you nothing like that took place." Defense attorney Arlen Stoker also defended the process. He said the plea deals were hard-fought and hard-argued. He said he and prosecutor Dustin O'Brien had looked at several cases and argued to get the plea worked out. Stoker defended O'Brien's integrity, calling him one of the most honest, ethical persons I know. The message was clear. These weren't sweetheart deals. These were the result of negotiation and legal analysis. But to William's family, it didn't matter. Their loved one was dead. The men who killed him were getting sentences that felt like a slap in the face. Eli, the one who actually shot William, was only getting 6 years. He could be out in his late 20s. Tyler was getting 15 years. He'd be out in his late 30s or early 40s. These weren't life sentences. These weren't the kind of punishments that reflected the severity of taking a man's life. After the hearing, as people left the courthouse, one member of William's family flipped off the deputies. It was a gesture of anger, of frustration, of complete disillusionment with the justice system. And honestly, who could blame them? During the sentencing hearing, both Tyler and Eli spoke. They apologized to William's family. Eli Chaffin said he had taken action to defend my brother and felt his life was in danger. He said his brother had always been there for him, implying that his loyalty to Tyler had driven his actions. Tyler Chaffin said he knew he would live differently for the rest of his life. He said he accepted responsibility and the consequences for what happened. He said, "I will live with that guilt for the rest of my life." Were these apologies sincere? It's impossible to know. Defendants often express remorse at sentencing hearings because it can influence the judge. But whether Tyler and Eli genuinely felt guilty, or whether they were just saying what they needed to say, the result was the same. They were going to prison, not for life, but for long enough that their youth would be spent behind bars. The Chaffin family also spoke at the hearing, advocating for their sons. Tiffany Chaffin, the brother's mother, called the killing a very unfortunate thing. She told the judge that her boys had a lot to offer. She said, "Wasting away in prison is not going to be a benefit to them." It was a mother trying to protect her children, trying to minimize their sentences, trying to paint them in the best possible light. But to William's family, it probably sounded tone deaf. A very unfortunate thing? A man was dead. That's not unfortunate. That's tragic. That's a crime. Sean Chaffin, the brother's father, talked about how he'd raised his sons with a work ethic. He mentioned their involvement in 4-H and FFA. He said he'd taught them how to contribute to society. He was trying to show that these were good kids who'd made a terrible mistake. And maybe they were. Maybe Tyler and Eli were fundamentally decent people who got caught up in something they didn't fully understand. But that doesn't change what they did. It doesn't bring William Johnson back. Judge Gurley handed down the sentences. Eli Chaffin, 6 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. Tyler Chaffin, 15 years in prison for second-degree murder and being a felon in possession of a firearm. Both sentences were far less than what the original charges, first-degree murder, could have carried. And with that, the cases against Tyler and Eli Chaffin were resolved. They were going to prison. William Johnson's family was left to grieve, and Sierra Collins still had her day in court ahead of her, or so everyone thought. Sierra Collins had been in custody since July 2022, just like the Chaffin brothers. She was being held at the San Juan County Detention Center awaiting trial. Her charges, accessory to first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, were serious. If convicted, she could spend decades in prison. Prosecutors believed she was the mastermind, that she had recruited Tyler and Eli, that without her manipulation, William Johnson would still be alive. But Sierra never made it to trial. On September 13, 2024, just weeks after the Chaffin brothers were sentenced, Sierra Collins experienced what officials described as a serious medical problem while in custody at the detention center. She was rushed to San Juan Regional Medical Center, the local hospital, and there, she died. The exact nature of the medical problem was never publicly disclosed. Was it a pre-existing condition that went untreated in jail? Was it something that developed while she was incarcerated? Was it suicide? Was it foul play? We don't know. The authorities didn't release details. What we know is that Sierra Collins, age 23, died in the hospital after being taken there from the jail. On September 20th, 2024, prosecutors filed a motion to dismiss the charges against Sierra. The motion stated simply, "The defendant is deceased. Consequently, the present matter is rendered moot, and the case is dismissed." You can't prosecute a dead person. So the case against Sierra Collins ended not with a verdict, but with her death. For William's family, this must have been another blow. Sierra was the one they likely blamed the most. She was the one who had allegedly orchestrated the whole thing. She was the one who had turned a breakup into a murder, and now she was gone. There would be no trial, no opportunity to hear her testify, no chance to see her held accountable in court. She'd escaped justice in a way, not through acquittal, but through death. And we'll never know the full truth of what she said to Tyler and Eli. We'll never know exactly how she manipulated them, what promises she made, what picture she painted of William Johnson. Defense attorney Mark Kernett had alluded during the Chaffin sentencing to Sierra's threatening actions toward Johnson. He said she had the ability to provoke extremes in people. He said she knew Johnson was a good guy who wore his emotions on his sleeve, and she played on that. But we'll never hear Sierra's side of the story. We'll never know if she felt remorse, or if she would have justified her actions, or if she would have blamed the brothers. So where does that leave us? William Johnson is dead, murdered over text messages and a breakup. Tyler Chaffin is in prison for 15 years. Eli Chaffin is in prison for 6 years. Sierra Collins is dead, and a family in New Mexico is left to pick up the pieces. This case raises so many questions about manipulation, about loyalty, about the choices we make when we're young and impressionable. Tyler and Eli Chaffin didn't wake up on July 24, 2022, planning to kill someone. They weren't career criminals. They weren't violent gang members. They were young men, one just 19 years old, who made catastrophically bad decisions because a woman convinced them to defend her honor. Does that excuse what they did? Absolutely not. They killed a man. They shot William Johnson in the back. They ended his life. And they have to live with that. They have to serve their time in prison. They have to carry that guilt, assuming they feel it, for the rest of their lives. But it's also a cautionary tale about how easily people can be manipulated, about how quickly a situation can spiral out of control, about how violence, once it starts, can't be undone. Tyler and Eli probably thought they were doing the right thing. They probably thought they were protecting Sierra, standing up for her, being men. But they were being used. They were being weaponized by someone who knew how to push the right buttons. And William Johnson paid the price. A 37-year-old man who worked on cars, who had emotions, who maybe didn't handle the breakup perfectly, but who didn't deserve to die. His family lost a son, a brother, a loved one, and they'll never get him back. The motive in this case, as Sheriff Burns said, was a relationship gone sour. That's it. No elaborate conspiracy, no financial gain, no deep-seated hatred, just a breakup that someone couldn't handle maturely. And that immaturity, that inability to just walk away and move on, led to murder. There are lessons here about toxic relationships, about the warning signs of someone who manipulates and controls. Sierra Collins had a pattern, according to the defense, of provoking extreme reactions in people. That's not normal. That's not healthy. If you're in a relationship with someone who constantly creates drama, who turns minor conflicts into major confrontations, who convinces you that you need to fight their battles for them, that's a red flag. That's someone who's using you. There are also lessons about violence, about how quickly things can escalate. Tyler and Eli showed up at William's house, probably thinking they were just going to talk to him, maybe scare him a little. But talking turned into fighting, and fighting turned into shooting, and shooting turned into murder. Once you introduce violence into a situation, you lose control. You can't predict where it will go, and you can't take it back. And there are lessons about the justice system, about how plea deals work, about how families of victims often feel betrayed by the process. William's family believed that Tyler and Eli should have gone to trial, should have faced first-degree murder charges, should have received life sentences. Instead, they got reduced charges and reduced sentences. Was that justice? It depends on who you ask. From a legal standpoint, plea deals are often the most efficient way to resolve cases. They save time, resources, and the uncertainty of trial. They guarantee a conviction. But from an emotional standpoint, from the perspective of a grieving family, they can feel like a cop-out. Like the system is more interested in closing cases than in delivering true accountability. Judge Gurley insisted that nothing improper happened with the plea deals. Prosecutor O'Brien insisted that the negotiations were proper and ethical. And maybe they're right. Maybe the evidence against Tyler and Eli had weaknesses that made first-degree murder hard to prove. Maybe the prosecution looked at the case and decided that guaranteed convictions on lesser charges were better than risking acquittals on higher charges. We don't know all the details that went into those decisions, but what we do know is that William Johnson's family feels like justice wasn't served. And their pain, their anger, their frustration, all of that is valid. When you lose someone you love to violence, no sentence ever feels like enough. No amount of prison time brings that person back. The system can punish the perpetrators, but it can't undo the harm. William Johnson's mother, Penny Johnson Jones, will never see her son again. His sister, Stacy Troyer, will never have another conversation with her brother. His friends, his extended family, everyone who knew and loved him, they all have a hole in their lives now. And that hole doesn't get filled by Tyler and Eli going to prison. It doesn't get filled by Sierra dying in custody. It just stays there, a permanent reminder of what was taken. This case also highlights issues with jail conditions and inmate health. Sierra Collins died in custody. The details weren't released, but any death in custody raises questions. Was she receiving adequate medical care? Did jail staff respond appropriately to her medical emergency? Could her death have been prevented? These are questions that should be asked any time someone dies while in government custody. Jails have a responsibility to keep inmates safe, to provide medical care, to respond to emergencies. Whether that happened in Sierra's case, we don't know. But her death is a reminder that incarceration comes with risks, and those risks need to be taken seriously. Looking at this case from a broader perspective, it's a story about how social media and modern communication can fuel conflicts. William was sending text messages to Sierra. Those messages became the justification for violence. In previous generations, breakups happened and people moved on because there wasn't constant digital contact. You couldn't send unlimited texts. You couldn't check someone's social media. You couldn't stay connected in the same way. But now it's easy to stay entangled with an ex. Easy to keep fighting via text. Easy to let a conflict simmer and grow. And in this case, that digital conflict became a real-world murder. It's also a story about how easily young men can be convinced to commit violence in the name of protecting a woman. Tyler and Eli thought they were defending Sierra's honor. They thought they were being chivalrous, being protectors, being men, but they were being manipulated. True strength, true manhood, isn't about using violence to solve problems. It's about de-escalation. It's about recognizing when someone is using you. It's about having the wisdom to walk away. If Tyler and Eli had said to Sierra, "If this guy is harassing you, call the police, get a restraining order, let the legal system handle it," William Johnson would still be alive. Tyler and Eli wouldn't be in prison. Sierra might not be dead. Everyone's lives would be different. But they didn't make that choice. They chose violence. And now they're paying the price. William Johnson's legacy is a reminder that every life matters. That losing someone to violence is a tragedy that ripples out through families and communities. His family described him as someone who wore his emotions on his sleeve, which means he cared deeply, felt things intensely. That's not a weakness. That's humanity. And he deserved to live out his life, to continue being who he was, flaws and all. The Chaffin brothers will have years in prison to think about what they did, to reflect on the choices they made, to consider how different their lives could have been if they'd just said no to Sierra. Whether they use that time productively, whether they genuinely feel remorse, whether they come out of prison as better people or more broken people, we'll see. But the opportunity for redemption exists. They're young enough that when they get out, they'll still have time to build new lives. That's more than William Johnson got. As for Sierra Collins, her story ended in a hospital bed. We'll never know what her trial would have revealed. We'll never know if she would have been convicted, if she would have shown remorse, if she would have taken responsibility. Her death closed that chapter. And in a strange way, it might have saved Tyler and Eli from additional scrutiny. If Sierra had gone to trial, if she'd testified, if she'd revealed more about how she manipulated the brothers, it might have made their actions look even worse, or it might have explained them in a way that generated sympathy. We'll never know. What we do know is that on July 24, 2022, 3 people made decisions that destroyed multiple lives. William Johnson decided to stay in contact with an ex-girlfriend, sending messages that bothered her. Sierra Collins decided to recruit 2 young men to confront him violently instead of handling it legally. Tyler and Eli Chaffin decided to go to William's house with the intent to intimidate or harm him, and William ended up dead, shot in the back, killed over a breakup. The San Juan County Sheriff's Office did their job. They investigated. They identified suspects. They made arrests. They built a case. The prosecution did their job. They secured convictions, even if those convictions came through plea deals rather than trials. The defense attorneys did their job. They negotiated the best possible outcomes for their clients. The judge did his job. He imposed sentences within the bounds of the law. The system functioned. But for William's family, the system failed. Because no amount of process, no amount of proper procedure, no amount of by-the-book justice brings William back. And that's the fundamental limitation of the criminal justice system. It can punish, it can deter, it can incapacitate dangerous people, but it can't heal. It can't restore. It can't make things right. If there's a takeaway from this case, it's this. Violence is never the answer. Manipulation destroys lives. And relationships, no matter how painful they are to end, are not worth killing over. If you're in a toxic relationship, get out. If someone is harassing you, use legal means to stop them. If someone asks you to commit violence on their behalf, say no. Walk away. Choose life. Choose peace. Choose a future that doesn't involve prison or death or irreversible trauma. William Johnson's life mattered. His death mattered. And his story, tragic as it is, can serve as a warning to others. Don't let anger consume you. Don't let someone else weaponize you. Don't throw your life away over something that could have been resolved without bloodshed. Rest in peace, William Johnson. You deserved better. Your family deserved better. And hopefully your story will prevent someone else from making the same mistakes that ended your life.
This is Tiffany, mother of Tyler and Eli Chaffin. Just hours earlier, her two sons brutally killed a man and left his body by the side of the road.
I felt I had to shoot Willis to make sure my brother didn't get hurt. Those police are always trying to protect the children.
As Tiffany listens in horror, the brothers insist they were only protecting each other. But the truth is far darker.
They were trying to help me. I wanted to kill somebody, and then...
Over the next 24 hours, Tiffany will face the worst day of her life as she slowly pieces together the horrifying truth that she's raised two terrifying killers.
And your brother murdered somebody.
I love you very much.
Some people have a fucked up way of looking at things.
But a killer is a killer is a killer, right?
The Chaffin brothers' Sunday begins like any other morning in their parents' remote home near Aztec, New Mexico. They're sitting in the living room watching gun YouTubers and playing video games. A young woman is with them. She turns to the brothers and asks if they would kill for her. But just then, her phone buzzes, and in that moment, something in her snaps. She stands up, looks at the brothers, and tells them they're going for a ride and to bring guns. 2 hours later, in a quiet trailer park, residents hear 4 sharp gunshots echo through the area. When they rush to their windows, they see a man lying motionless in a puddle of blood and a car speeding away from the scene. Seconds later, 911 calls begin pouring in from terrified witnesses, marking the start of a multi-hour manhunt unlike anything this town has ever experienced.
There's just a shootout. Somebody got shot over here. And I think somebody's either dead or bleeding across the street. One of the two. He was walking out of the house and they just started opening fire on him. It's like a white SUV.
I'm the neighbor. I do not want my name used. Gunshots. Less than 5 minutes ago, he hopped into a white, looked to be like a Ford Escape.
Within minutes, multiple officers rush to the scene with no idea what they're up against or if the shooter is still somewhere nearby. The following footage has never been seen before until now. Viewer discretion is advised.
You guys can leave. Go ahead and leave. Good. He's obviously 10-7.
Officers find the victim lying face down in the grass, while nearby residents begin gathering outside, oblivious to the danger still nearby. And before officers can secure the scene, something catches their attention. A white SUV parked just 100 yards away, matching the description of the suspect's vehicle. With guns drawn, they move in cautiously, fully expecting to confront the gunman.
Out of the vehicle! Get out of the car!
Get out of the vehicle!
Is there anyone else in your car? Just your dog?
Yeah.
Okay, just keep walking to me. Do you have any weapons on you?
No, sir. No weapons in the car. No weapons on me. I just mentioned by a friend of mine.
Put your hands on top of your head for me, please.
Sure. I just went to the dollar store and got cigarettes. I came to see my buddy, so I turned around right there, and you guys were right there.
The driver appears unarmed and, at first glance, seems like more of a witness than a suspect. Officers clear him, then move on to search his vehicle, but they find no guns or anything that connects him to the shooting. That leaves police with almost nothing to go on, and they still don't even know the victim's identity. But that's about to change because the driver is about to give officers their first real lead of the day.
When I pulled in there was a Blazer, almost like this, only a bigger one. It's like we got on the highway and he turned towards the Aztec.
Okay.
On the highway.
Cool if I open it real quick?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Witness said he saw a white Chevy Blazer eastbound on 30 days. He said he saw it turning, going really quick on the back road and then turning to Aztec. Okay. More than likely, it's probably okay.
With the help from witnesses, police now have a clearer picture of what they're looking for. Specifically, a white Chevy Blazer with gold trim that sped away immediately after the gunshots. After the scene is secured, officers return to the body to examine it closely and determine the victim's identity. What they document here will become critical evidence detectives later use to secure a conviction.
He's got a blood spot on his head. He may have one in his. He may have one in his head, right there.
Unless then on the shoulder here, unless this is that part, you know.
Something caused him to fall forward, though.
That's the thing. If this was the first shot, then he
Yeah.
was forward, you know.
That can't be the first shot, though, because that's on the back of his leg. He was standing up, facing this way, and the car was out here.
Probably turned around to take off running, maybe.
He was walking. Fired the rounds from the road. Oh, okay. He was walking this way.
What if he was down? Somebody walked over, got to the edge, and popped him in the head.
As officers study the wounds, something troubling starts to stand out. This doesn't look like a chaotic shooting, but it's more in line with a calculated execution. The shot pattern is brutal, hinting at a violent, twisted killer on the loose. The victim appears to be in his early 40s, with at least 4 gunshot wounds. And with no gun in sight, it's likely he was unarmed. At this point, the officers still don't know his identity or what would drive someone to kill him so brutally. But that's when they notice something crucial, a trail of fresh footprints leading straight to a nearby house. With guns drawn, officers move in cautiously. After searching the home, officers find no one inside, but they do notice women's clothing and drug paraphernalia tucked inside the cupboards, along with family photos of a man who resembles the deceased victim, leading them to believe this is his residence. With the house cleared, officers step back outside to regroup and figure out their next move. They still don't know the victim's name, and they're no closer to identifying who shot him. So they split up to gather information from nearby residents, where they'll learn the victim's name and hear some concerning details about his life.
Hi. Hey, by chance, did you hear anything?
Yes, 3 shots.
Who lives in this last trailer over here?
Williams. Johnson.
William Johnson?
Yeah, he's 6 months behind on his rent.
Earlier, did you hear anything over here?
Yes, sir. I heard 3 shots.
How many people come and go from that house that you're aware of?
Quite a few.
Do they ever have any issues over there?
Oh, fighting.
Who fights?
Sierra and William.
After speaking with several more neighbors, officers finally confirm the victim's identity. 37-year-old William Johnson, a father of 2 daughters, known around the area as Bubba. They also learn about a 23-year-old girl named Sierra who'd been living with William and often was seen arguing with him. But no one seems to know her last name, something police now need to track down. Coincidentally, one of the officers canvassing the area encounters a driver parked along the roadside who claims to be Sierra's friend and knows exactly how to find her.
How's it going? Good. Did you know her because you worked with her?
I know her because I worked with her. She was also a friend of my daughter's.
Are him and Sierra still together?
For some dumb reason, after I told her, do not keep exactly, and it's not going to work out. She got that.
You know if Will had bad blood with anybody?
I'm sure that bad blood a lot. Just okay, go home.
How do you know he was dealing
I seen him. I witnessed it.
to his deal to sell the dude?
Sierra.
Sierra's friend would go on to provide officers with her full name and phone number, 23-year-old Sierra Collins, William's ex-girlfriend. When detectives arrived to begin their homicide investigation, they quickly realized they're already familiar with Sierra. Her record includes several drug-related offenses and even a restraining order she filed against William himself. She had recently completed a rehab program, was trying to regain custody of her son, and was working towards becoming a teacher. With her name confirmed, the investigator decides to call her. At this point, all the detective knows about Sierra is that she's William's ex-girlfriend. He simply wants to ask her about William and has no reason to believe she's involved in anything. But that will change quickly once she answers the phone. But before we get to that, you know those times where you're not feeling right or have some weird symptoms you're not really sure what they are? The hardest part for me isn't usually deciding to see a doctor, it's finding one that actually feels right for me. That's where ZocDoc, today's video sponsor, comes in. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, and ZocDoc isn't just for one type of care. They have more than 100,000 providers across nearly every specialty, from primary care to dental health, eye care to urgent care to mental health, and more. It's the one-stop shop for all your healthcare needs, plus it's completely free to use. When you found the doctor you need, you can see their actual appointment openings. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. No need to call doctor's offices and wait on hold either. So if there's something you've been ignoring, make it easier on yourself. Go to ZocDoc.com/DrInsanity. That's ZocDoc.com/DrInsanity, or click the link in the description to find and instantly book a top-rated in-network doctor today. With that said, let's get back to the investigation, where the detective is about to call Sierra and discover she may know exactly how William ended up dead.
I'm sorry, is this Sierra?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Detective Frank with the Sheriff's Office. I was trying to get a hold of you. Are you available right now?
For what?
I just have some questions I'd like.
Busy.
I really would like to speak with you. It involves William.
Oh, shit.
Like, it's very, very important. You can't meet with me for literally 20 minutes, because I really need your help.
Right now?
Yeah, if you can.
Can I call you back?
Yeah? How long do you think, roughly?
I'll call you back in 10 minutes.
Sierra hangs up but calls back shortly after, ultimately agreeing to come to the station. Unknowingly, the upcoming interview with Sierra will blow the case wide open, put the Chaffin brothers on the run as armed fugitives, and trigger a dangerous multi-hour manhunt.
Keep your right hand up with your left hand only. Open the door and get out. So,
I don't think I could help you. Not today, anyway.
Okay. And that's fair. Do you know who he dealt with on that whole drug side of things? Like who kind of his person was?
That was just simply.
The reason I asked you is that's a motive. That's a great motive.
I mean, he bought dope from a lot of fucking people, you know what I mean?
Did he owe any of them?
Yes.
Okay, who did he owe?
He owed the landlord money.
Well, I know he owed the landlord. I talked to him this morning. I mean, anybody to the point where you think they would want to kill him? Like, why would someone want to murder him? Like, we're not here to play games. We're not here maybe he's dead, maybe he's not. He was murdered this morning, and I'm calling you so that you can help me. Okay? I'm not here to get you in trouble. Obviously, he's not in trouble. He can't be in trouble. Because regardless of whether you agree with what he was doing or not, or trying to help him or whatever. Why'd you guys break up?
Because he can't get his anger under control.
Was he abusive to you?
No, but it was good. It was good.
Sierra starts crying almost immediately, but the detective can quickly tell it isn't genuine grief, more like someone afraid of getting into trouble. Seeing this, he shifts the conversation to William's phone. Officers had found it at the crime scene earlier, believing it might contain crucial evidence. The detective brings it up to see whether Sierra is willing to help unlock it, something she would do without hesitation if she truly cared about William.
What's the passcode for William's phone? Don't tell me you don't know, because I know that you do.
I know that you know.
And I know that you know, and listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. The chain of events that took place, if I can access that phone, that will help me huge.
Honestly, he didn't even have one.
No, he does. There's a code on it. What is it?
I haven't been on his phone in a long time.
You're not in trouble. You're here to help me.
I'm in trouble.
You are here to help me. That's why I called you.
Yeah, I know, but then I'm going to get in trouble. Like,
how? For what?
I don't know. Probably the shit on his phone.
Why would you be in trouble for what I see on his phone?
I probably said mean things and he said mean things.
I brought you here because I know that in your relationship, I know you love him.
1128.
Like, how do you know that?
Because that's the day that we met.
Sierra's reaction here is concerning, to say the least. Outright refusing to help unlock the phone because she's worried it might contain something incriminating is a major red flag for the detective, and her lack of cooperation is doing nothing to help her case. But things don't stop there. As the interview continues, Sierra soon reveals the real reason she won't talk.
I just feel like I'm gonna get in trouble if I say something wrong, and I don't.
Like for what? Well, I mean, I guess what do you think? I mean, did you shoot him? So what do you think?
I can't go to jail. So I'm trying to study to be a teacher, you know, like I just.
What do you, you're not
drama.
You're not going to jail for anything.
I just this week to go for a walk and like he didn't have to use it.
Well, let's go. I'll leave my shit in here right now. We'll go walk down the street right now.
He's got those little fancy pins and the fucking microphone probably. I don't know.
This is a regular. This isn't the fucking FBI on TV.
He's a drug addict, okay, so I just be paranoid. Like,
this camera right here. This is the only camera. My phones are right. I will leave all my shit right here. We go for a walk right here.
Even though Sierra admits she knows who killed William, she refuses to say it inside the interrogation room, so the two agree to go for a walk, and the detective leaves his body camera behind as he escorts her outside, hoping she'll finally talk. Outside, Sierra explains that her friend Tyler Chaffin, whom she met in rehab, and his brother Eli were the killers, and insists she had no part in the murder, claiming the brothers were unstable and the younger one simply wanted to murder someone. This, however, is only Sierra's version of events, a version that conveniently leaves out the week-long plan she set in motion to get William killed while letting someone else take the blame. For now, the detectives take her statements at face value, though he does confiscate her phone to search for any incriminating evidence. Following this, investigators begin digging into the Chaffin brothers and discover that the older brother, Tyler, is a convicted felon with a prior arrest for assaulting a peace officer. To make matters worse, they find several firearm purchases, including rifles and pistols, registered to the Chaffin household. With this information in mind, the brothers are officially considered armed and extremely dangerous, prompting SWAT to join the multi-county manhunt. At the same time across town, the brothers are already packing their guns and getting ready to flee, convinced that Sierra has already betrayed them. SWAT teams move toward the Chaffin's residence, planning to ambush the brothers at their parents' home. The goal is clear: apprehend the suspects with no casualties. However, nothing about what happens next will go according to plan.
Nice and easy. The vehicle just left, so Sam, we're just gonna be putting along.
Armed and ready, SWAT races to the address. They set up surveillance on the roads surrounding the residence, waiting for the suspects to either arrive or make a run for it. Once officers arrive, they immediately surround the home and begin attempts to draw the brothers out.
Ready? Got it.
County Sheriff's Office. Come to the front door with the hands open and empty. Do it now. All residents of Skyline County Sheriff's Office with the hands open and empty. Do it now.
After several unsuccessful attempts to get the brothers to surrender, SWAT begins preparing to breach the residence.
Yeah, this door should be easy to breach. Okay. It wiggles a lot. If you just fucking boot it, go ahead. Okay. Well, we got the 2 steps here. Hey, Jeff, watch out, stretch right! Shout out, stretch right!
You know that breach?
Yep.
Lovato to command. Successful breach.
Looks like a den, goes into a dining room, possibly a kitchen. Need one! Need one!
Shotgun.
Yeah. Need one? Yep.
This is weird, yeah.
Let's move that shed to the right, and then there's that barn to the left.
Through and through.
Plywood here. Yeah, you're good. You're right here. Let me. Good.
After searching the entire home, no Chaffin brother is found, but whoever lives here has left half a dozen guns behind, meaning they could return at any moment. Just then, a white SUV matching the exact description of the suspect's car is spotted approaching the house. Officers draw their guns immediately, closing in on the vehicle as they brace for a shootout.
411 is not stopping, it's evading.
Keep your right hand up with your left hand only. Open the door and get out.
Put your hands up.
Turn around and face away from me. On your knees.
Hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head. Keep coming back. Keep coming back.
On your face. On your face. On your face. On your face. All clear? We've got 2 in custody, 6633.
officers successfully arrest the brothers and find an AR-15 rifle in their car, a reminder of just how deadly this confrontation could have been. They are then placed together in the same police vehicle to be taken to the station. This is a deliberate move. The car is equipped with a microphone that might capture the suspects coordinating a cover-up. The smartest move for the brothers would be to stay silent, but the police aren't dealing with the brightest. What they're about to say will give investigators all the ammunition they need for the upcoming interrogations, and a chilling glimpse into the twisted minds of these killers.
Stop, Eli. Okay, so I gotta reach down here. Yes, sir. Don't kick me, please. Did you say hi to Mom? Huh? Did you see Mom? Yeah, I heard her coming with me. Alrighty, guys, hang tight, alright? Yes, sir. When you get to the jail, don't tell them that you want to commit or anything like that, alright? Okay. Me and you are gonna go to the same cell block. Okay. We'll be together and I'll show you how to do jail shit. Right. I don't have my gun anyways. Just be cool, okay?
Pretty dead.
Yeah, pretty good.
What's he doing, too? This guy hit a pistol in his crotch or something stupid like that. So whenever they had gotten to the places to take him out, he had pulled that shit out of it. Like,
On the way to the station, Tyler, being the older brother, immediately takes charge, telling Eli not to cry or bring up self-harm and to stick to their story. From this conversation alone, the detectives can already tell the brothers won't be easy to break, especially if they stay together. So once they arrive at the station, the brothers are immediately separated. From this point on, neither will know where the other is or what they've said. The detective assigned to interview the brothers is Detective Decker, who served with distinction and was recently promoted to sergeant. Decker's goal is to provoke one of the brothers into slipping up and contradicting the other, a strategy aimed at uncovering what really happened. Eli, the teenage brother who allegedly pulled the trigger, is the first to be interviewed. But once they sit down, Eli instantly starts bargaining and asks for something the detective could have never seen coming.
How you doing?
Good, how's it going, man?
Not too bad.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
I would like to have my parents in for the questioning, because anytime I've been told if they're going to do any questioning for you, is to have them in during the questioning.
But at this point you're 19. The parent part generally applies to juveniles.
I get it, but I still like it.
Detective Decker is baffled. Eli is 19, legally an adult, yet he still insists on having his mother present. Decker already senses how messy this could get. Any parent with even basic instincts would tell their kid to ask for a lawyer immediately. But with no other choice, he escorts Eli back to his cell, still weighing the pros and cons of calling the mother. In the meantime, the detective moves on to interview Tyler, who will prove to have a very different strategy, one the detective won't catch on to right away.
So, I gotta ask you before we get going, man, do you have any idea why you might be here today?
Not really.
Not really at all. And the reason that I tell you that is because I know we all screw up, we all do stupid things, but the reason that you're here today is in reference to William Johnson. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Okay, how do you know him?
I met this girl. He was like her ex-boyfriend or something like that.
What girl did you meet?
Her name was Sierra.
How long have you known Sierra?
3 weeks.
So just recently?
Yeah, just recently. Me and her are in the IOP together.
What is that?
Intense outpatient treatment.
For?
Alcohol and drug use.
Are you using today?
No, sir.
No? Sober?
Yes, sir.
You know of William because of her?
Because of her, she talked about him here and there.
Have you ever met William?
I haven't.
Never?
No.
Tyler shows no real reaction to what Detective Decker just said, instead playing completely oblivious, as if he has no idea why he's even sitting in an interview room. But underneath that act, the pressure is already cracking through, because Tyler already suspects Sierra has sold them out. He just doesn't know how much investigators have against him and his brother. Seeing this, the detective decides it's time to plainly lay it out and make sure Tyler understands that he's here for murder. A revelation that immediately sends Tyler scrambling to improvise.
So like I told you, I'm here to talk to you about William Johnson.
So what happened?
So William Johnson was murdered.
Dead.
Yeah, dead.
So I'm gonna be straight with you now. I was her beat around the bush. She was hanging out with us and we went to the storage place over there kind of by where he lives. We went to the storage place and she said, hey, let's go over here and come back. So I want to check out my car. So we went over, drove in next to this house, and this dude came out and started approaching the vehicle. I then grabbed a .22 pistol and pointed at him and told him to stop. He got up in my face, I hit him with the pistol.
As soon as I hit him with the pistol, he had something in his hand. I don't know what it was, but he got me in the head. We went to the ground. As soon as we went to the ground, he went for my pistol, and as soon as he went for my pistol, my brother shot him.
Where were you at in the vehicle?
I was in the passenger side. But it was when the tussle happened, and whenever he went for the pistol was whenever he had got the shot. On the ground, getting my ass beat, and about damn near got the pistol taken away from me. About damn near got shot with my own gun. He seen Sierra, and I don't know what his intentions were, from what I've heard, abusive or whatever. I didn't know we were going to his house. I just thought we were going to go look at her car.
Right away, Tyler doesn't stick to the plan he rehearsed with his brother and instead confesses to the shooting, trying to frame it as self-defense, believing it will protect both of them. However, in doing so, he ends up fully implicating his brother Eli. Whether intentionally or not, remains to be seen. And while his explanation may sound reasonable for now, the brothers have no idea that the gunshot pattern on William's body tells a very different story. One that's not consistent with self-defense, but execution.
Do you know what the hole in his back tells me?
You know what's that?
In looking at the way that bullet hit his back, is that he was already laying face down when that round was fired.
See, whenever I heard the first round, I took off.
So that hole in his back, you think that was the first round that hit, or what do you?
I don't know. I know my brother uses hollow points, and I know those make holes.
Yeah. What was he saying?
He wasn't saying anything, he was just groaning. This is making noises. The guy really loves me. He didn't want me to get hurt.
Even though Tyler doubles down on the self-defense claim and seems regretful, the evidence gathered so far points to a far more cold, deliberate violence rather than two frightened kids defending themselves. Detective Decker knows this, and Tyler's tearful explanations aren't convincing him otherwise. But instead of being confrontational, Decker decides to simply let Tyler keep talking, allowing him to dig the hole deeper for himself and his brother.
It's fucking scary, man. To see it, just to fucking see it, I would have never imagined.
What do you think should happen to you?
I didn't want any of that to happen. I never had intentions to shoot him. I never tried to cock the pistol back and shoot him with the pistol. And I don't want to feel like I'm telling him about it. But I don't know how he fucking did it. He's always had an interest in guns and shit. And we always worried about him. And I think today was his day for him to use his gun. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to happen at all.
How did Eli seem after the whole ordeal?
He seems really fucked up. He kept crying. He kept telling me that he thought it was me. He said he didn't want anybody to hurt me. He kept saying he loved me.
Tyler is a complete mess now, no longer acting, but genuinely horrified by his brother's actions this morning. After exhausting everything Tyler can say about the murder, the detective shifts the conversation to the third person that was present during the shooting, Sierra Collins. Earlier, Sierra placed all the blame on the brothers, insisting she had nothing to do with the murder. But that narrative is about to change.
What was her take on seeing her, boyfriend or ex-boyfriend shot dead?
Had zero to none emotion. It was shocking.
So no emotion at all? Not laughing, not crying? She did.
I know that that was her plan. And I don't know if she was, because he was outside whenever we pulled up. Because she had asked Eli if he'd shoot him before all this happened. Jokingly, like, haha, that's a nice gun, but you shoot my ex-boyfriend. It was all a joke until today.
I have a little bit of history with her and different cases, and she can be a pretty persuasive girl. I mean, if she straight up asked you to go over there to shoot William, then you'd be straight with me if that's what she said.
She told us about how he her and did all these bad things to her. I just feel like I was tricked.
By who?
Sierra. And she fucking tricked us.
Tyler outright accuses Sierra of tricking him and his brother into murdering William. There's a chance he's saying this to protect himself and Eli, but the detective knows Sierra is more than capable of manipulation. If Eli's story aligns with Tyler's, they may be able to implicate her and lessen their own sentences. Now it's the brothers' word against Sierra's. And soon, their mother Tiffany will enter the mix, stepping into what will become the worst day of her life. For now, though, the detective wraps up his interview with Tyler, but instead of calling the brother's mother right away, he reaches out to someone he's already spoken with, Sierra. What she doesn't know is that the investigators have already spent hours reviewing messages on her phone, and they've uncovered far more involvement than she ever admitted. When Sierra arrives, she seems to sense it and immediately asks Detective Decker to turn off his body cam, apparently forgetting about the camera in the interview room. What neither of them realizes is that this will become the last known recording of Sierra alive.
Do you know what happened? I know you know what happened. But why do you think that happened?
Don't worry, I've been blaming myself all fucking night. You don't have to do it too. I didn't know Tyler had a gun in the front seat.
Had they ever been to Will's house before? No. How did they know how to get there? So you know none of this looks very good, right? Whenever you send text messages like that to Will and then proceed to go over to his house with your homies who are strapped.
I didn't know that I was sending text messages to him.
And William ends up dead because they shot him. It kind of seems like an orchestrated plan to me.
Was it? Well, that was the
These guys didn't know Will before they met you. Any info they got about Will came directly from you.
I didn't want Will dead.
So Sierra, here's what I think. I think that day that you had orchestrated a plan to go over there, but you went over there for a purpose. Those boys had no idea where that place was.
I didn't go over there wanting Will to die.
All the evidence that I have says that there was something planned to go down there to do something.
Look, I'm a piece of shit, okay? I didn't want him to die.
Why didn't you help him?
Boy wanted to kill somebody, he fucking did.
Why didn't you help him?
I said you were wrong, I said you guys just fucking killed any of his kids.
Sierra continues to insist that Eli simply wanted to kill someone and that she had nothing to do with it. But at this point, none of what she says matters. Her phone is filled with incriminating messages she can't explain away. And now, not only is Sierra not getting her phone back, she's about to learn she's not walking out of this interview room either. Her life, as she knows it, is over.
So Eli killed your best friend, gunned him down, and shot him dead in front of you, but you don't know what you think should happen, Eli.
I just feel like I was a fucking kid.
Do you feel like you're to blame for any of it?
I feel like it's all my fault if that's what you're asking.
Right now, I'm in the process of applying for a warrant for your arrest for Will's murder. And Sierra, I'm not saying that you are the one that went over there and pulled the trigger, but some of your actions directly impacted the way all that turned out. Will's dead. We can't bring Will back. So Sierra, if it's my choice, you're going to go to jail and you're going to be charged.
Unfortunately for Sierra, nothing can save her now. The interview is concluded, and Sierra is placed under arrest for murder. Her breakdown at the end of the interview, however, hints at a much darker twist awaiting her, one no one could have predicted. By now, Detective Decker decides it's time to speak with the person who allegedly pulled the trigger, Eli. So he finally calls Eli's mother, Tiffany, asking her to come down to the station without explaining exactly why. Shocked to receive a call from the police at such an hour, Tiffany arrives within minutes. When Decker goes outside to notify her of the horrifying crime her sons are accused of, her reaction is strange, to say the least.
So I'm Detective Decker. I spoke with you on the phone. When I went to talk to Eli, he wanted you present while I spoke with him. He didn't really explain why. I mean, he's an adult, so normally we don't get that from adults.
He's severely dyslexic. He is considered disabled.
I guess our sergeant came over and talked with you and let you know that your boys have been in a shooting.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Like, when? Where? How?
Clearly, Tiffany's reaction isn't what the officers expected from a mother whose sons are accused of murder. The detective is taking a big risk by allowing Tiffany to be present during questioning. While her presence could encourage Eli to open up, it could just as easily shut him down or prompt him to ask for a lawyer. For Detective Decker, the goal is to see how closely Eli's account aligns with Tyler's and to assess Sierra's true level of involvement. But for Tiffany, she's here to find out whether her teenage sons are truly heartless, cold-blooded killers.
Hey, Fred. Can I give him a hug?
Absolutely. So you feel comfortable talking to me now?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So just to be straight with you, the reason that we're here today is in reference to William Johnson.
Okay.
Do you know that name?
I have no clue who that is.
No idea?
No, sir.
Clearly, Eli is sticking to the story he and his brother concocted, completely unaware that just hours earlier, Tyler had already given him up. Tiffany did mention that Eli is severely dyslexic and considered disabled, so there's a chance he isn't lying, but genuinely unable to recall names. But Decker is about to find out whether that's true or if it's all an act.
So, and you graduated high school?
Yes, sir.
Was that easy?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, especially with how COVID was, and then the computer. I was better learning in class than over a laptop.
You said you didn't know that.
I have no clue if it is.
Have you ever heard the name before?
I've heard of Will.
Okay, so have you heard of Will Johnson?
No.
No?
No, sir.
Just Will?
Just Will.
And who have you heard that name from?
Probably, I don't know how to exactly say her name, but it's like Sia. I just barely, recently met her through my brother, and they've been just, hanging out and stuff. That's just all I know them.
What about the name Sierra? Does that ring a bell?
Just the fact that I know her with my brother.
What did y'all do today?
Oh, we just hang out and watch TV and play video games and stuff. Didn't really do too much.
I was actually there today, if I might add.
Yes, ma'am.
I was there today, and I can even tell you the times that I was there, and they were also there.
What time did you leave?
So Serena, I don't know how to say her name exactly. She had gotten a call, and she told us that it was a detective or something. And you're like, okay.
Sierra ever talk about her car?
She had mentioned it being possibly strapped down or taken apart and then scrapped or something.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I don't know.
Where did she say where her car?
No, I have no clue where it is.
It turns out Eli does know about Sierra, but he doubles down on playing dumb, just as he and Tyler planned. At least for now, he's holding out longer than his brother. Tiffany also seems to be backing up her son, reinforcing the very risk the detective anticipated when allowing her into the room. This is when the detective decides to ask Eli about his fascination with guns, something that will lead to an unexpected outcome, causing Eli to slip.
Do you have a driver's license?
No, I do not, but I've done some driving on my Xbox.
Do you own any guns?
I do, but I have it as a hobby. I am not aggressive. You want to know what I own? I own, the first gun that I did get was a .22. It was a PCR, and then after that I got a 12 gauge Winchester. It's like a cyst pump. I have my Saint, which is an AR-15. I got it kind of pretty decked out. I'm really proud of it. And I just do it for hobby and also for self-defense and home defense.
Do you own any handguns?
I do. Well, it's not my handgun. It's my parents' handgun. Why?
What kind is it?
Why are you asking?
I'm just curious.
Okay. It's Ruger.
Does the 22 even have the, what's the thing that you put the bullets in? It's like a round thing where you put the bullets in.
Oh, the one that you have is a revolver?
Yes, sir.
Does it have the cylinder in it?
As far as I'm concerned, no, it doesn't. It's put away in their closet.
Maybe it hasn't had the cylinder in it for years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any that are broken?
I do. Yeah, I have a little bit on the bottom of it is broken.
Oh yeah, the trigger guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that get broke?
I dropped it getting out of the car or something.
The detective notices how quickly Eli insists he isn't aggressive, a strange thing to emphasize unless you know you're being accused of something serious. So he plans to press Eli on that point, prompting Eli's mother to jump in and defend him.
You said something kind of struck me weird a minute ago, Eli. When I asked you about guns, you said you had them, but that you're not aggressive.
I'm not.
Why did you feel like that was important to tell me?
It's just something to throw out there, you know?
He's a very timid guy. He's actually been abused and bullied all of his life. So he's always wanted to have a gun for protection all of his life.
I try to prevent a fight than provoke a fight, you know what I mean?
I got zero tolerance for bullies, so I completely understand where you're coming from on that. I don't tolerate it.
Been seriously bullied.
The detective believes Tyler and Sierra likely put Eli in this position and knew he was going to shoot William, despite their claims to the contrary. But just as Decker builds some rapport with Eli, he shifts gears completely and confronts him with his brother's confession.
Was Tyler in any fights today? So I already know. Listen, I already know that means yes. Who was he in a fight with?
Can I tell the full story?
I would love the full story. Okay. Because I feel like I'm trying to pry bits out of you.
No, I'm sorry.
And I know, Eli, I know that you know why you're here and why I'm talking to you.
Protect yourself and tell the truth.
It seems the pressure is working, and Eli decides to tell the truth. Though his mother encourages him to cooperate, she has no idea that what she's about to hear will change their lives forever.
Will had kept on calling, and she had to fear him either pulling up on her because she had mentioned to him about beating her up and a number of different things. We had went over just to get his phone. I told her, like, well, I don't know that we're gonna come and get the phone is to get the personal items off of it. And as soon as we had pulled up, he had stuck his head out the door and was already just screaming things, and he had come out in the front yard, and what's he gonna do? Is he gonna break the windshield? Like, what's his next move? So I got out of my car with my rifle and told him to stop, quit approaching, stay where you are, stop moving. My brother got out of the car, and Will had hit my brother, and somehow my brother got this gash on the side of his head. They both fell over, and because my brother, he'd gotten out a revolver, the revolver that we were talking about. I don't know why he had it, but I noticed that he had dropped it. Will was going for the revolver, so I shot Will, and we were super shooken about it. So, but in my defense, I didn't want Will to kill my brother. I didn't want Will to get the gun and kill my brother. So I shot Will. I didn't have intentions of killing him. I just wanted to get the phone and leave. But it turned physical, and I felt I had to shoot Will to make sure my brother didn't get hurt. At this point, I was trying to protect each other. Is he alright? No?
No, he's dead.
Oh my God, Eli. I'm sorry. I didn't want to kill him.
Eli breaks down and begins recounting what happened. With each sentence, Tiffany struggles to listen as her son describes how he committed murder, something no mother ever wants to hear. But even as this tragedy unfolds before her eyes, she clings to the hope that her sons acted only in self-defense. That's a belief the detective is about to challenge.
I already talked to Tyler. He told me he never lost possession of the handgun. He maintained it in his grip the entire time he was there.
Okay. He never dropped the gun or anything?
No.
Well, I assume then at that point, Will was going to pry the gun out of his hands because they're both on the ground. One of them's got a gun that's like a freaking revolver.
Yeah.
One of those easily accidental guns, besides like a Glock.
So look, Eli, here's the problem that we're going to run into, okay? So, you and Tyler went over there, but you went over there with guns.
For self-protection, for protection of myself, because she had even already mentioned that he had kidnapped her, he had beat her, so I wasn't looking forward to getting beat.
So you went over there to teach Will a lesson?
No, I didn't want to go over there and kill Will.
But you wanted to teach him a lesson.
Why would I want to teach him a lesson?
Because
I just wanted to take...
Sierra and he beat her. He had nude photos of her.
That's her personal business. I don't like girls.
And obviously she gave him the address because neither of them
She
knew
had taken this directly there. If somebody's attacking me, doing physical harm to me or my loved ones, then I may do something about it. He had pulled out a phone as if he was going to pull out a gun, but I had actually waited for him to see what he was going to pull out before doing anything crazy or irrational.
Where did he pull it out from?
He had... Can I get up to do an example of how he did this? Absolutely. So he'd come out and went like this, and then went and pulled out his phone all crazy and was like acting all stupid with it. And that's whenever Tyler ended up on the ground. He had hit him in the side of the head with a phone, and Tyler pistol whipped him.
Have you taken any handgun courses, any like self-protection courses, any firearms courses?
I do a lot of training on my own time.
Okay. What does that look like?
I'll watch YouTube videos on my and just learn from the YouTube. There's a number of different gun TikTokers that I've learned from out there.
Eli only digs himself deeper when he admits he learned gun handling from YouTube and TikTok. And this is exactly where the risk of allowing his mother into the room starts to show.
Given what you said, do you really think you should keep talking, or do you want to wait and get an attorney?
I'll do what you want.
No, I'm just telling you. Given what you said, I don't know that you should keep talking without getting the advice of an attorney.
So Eli, at this point, the only thing that I'm after at this point is I'm trying to figure out of like when you can and when you cannot shoot somebody.
I've watched a lot of body cam videos on YouTube, police officers and stuff. Some of them. You should stop. All right, I'm gonna stop.
What do you mean you're gonna stop?
I think given the situation, he should probably have an attorney present.
And that's completely up to him.
I'm with whatever she wants.
So what do you want?
Just to have an attorney.
Cool. We're done.
I love you, son. I love you too, Mom. I can't believe you let that girl take you there.
With an attorney requested and the interview shut down, Tiffany hugs her son once more, likely realizing this may be the last time she gets to do so. Having now interviewed both brothers, the detective has made up his mind about them. He steps outside and tells Tiffany what he really thinks about Eli.
I guarantee you she's the one who did it.
When I talk to Tyler, Tyler is a mess. Eli he's got a different attitude. It's almost like he doesn't care.
I've watched these two protect each other. Tyler used to watch Eli get bullied and watch him get beaten with a school computer. Can I ask you another thing? Is Tyler here?
Yes.
Can I see him?
Give me just a minute.
I just want to give him a hug and tell him goodbye. Never do it this time. I came in here to give you a hug. And tell you to get a hug with your finger. Even if you love me. I love you very much. No matter where you are, no matter what, I will always love you.
Hey, look. I'm okay. I love you, Mom.
I love you.
Bye.
After giving her sons one final goodbye, Tiffany leaves the police station still believing they were nothing more than pawns in a sadistic scheme, insisting Sierra alone should be held responsible. The next morning, a judge approves the murder charges against Sierra, while the brothers' charges remain pending. At the same time, Tyler asks to speak with the detective again, wanting to know what charges he and his brother might face. For Tyler, this is his last chance to shift the narrative in both his and Eli's favor, and influence how police view their roles in the killing. But for Detective Decker, it's an opportunity to strengthen the case against all three suspects. However, when he sits down with Tyler for one last time, he begins to wonder whether Tiffany might have been right, that maybe her sons aren't the monsters everyone assumed.
You alright? What did you want to talk about today, Tyler?
I just want to tell you that we were set up, that we didn't know where we were going, that we were just going to go see your car, and that's as far as my understanding was.
What do you mean you were set up?
I feel like I was set up. I feel like I was dragged to that house. I feel like I was used from the begin with. She had told me she wanted him dead, and I said, "Oh, I'm not the guy for you." I never offered. I never said, "Hey, I'm gonna kill this fucking guy for you." I don't know what the fuck's going on, man.
So Tyler, I'll tell you right now. I tell you right now, I don't disagree that you may have been set up.
Tyler maintains his self-defense story, however, this time he's far more adamant about Sierra's role in everything that happened. But there's something else Tyler wanted to speak to detectives for that he didn't mention up front. Earlier, Tyler was allowed a brief moment with his brother Eli, giving the two just enough time to compare what they told police. Now, Tyler has figured out the one major inconsistency between their stories, something he believes will help their case.
I wanted to talk to you guys. I didn't have full control over that weapon.
Over which weapon?
That 22. I do believe I dropped it.
So I asked you yesterday
if I had full control over the weapon,
and you said yes.
I did.
And then I even double-checked again. I asked you.
Yes, sir, you did.
I asked you. I said, so it stayed in your hand the whole time, and you were absolutely sure it was in your hand the whole time.
And that was just our pride. That was my pride.
So how did you get the gun back in your hand?
And went back and found it and picked it up.
What do you mean you went back and found it?
Or like, whenever I was going to go get in the car, I turned around and said, where the fuck's the gun? And I went back, grabbed it, and put it back in the car.
So you understand that there's independent witnesses this all will happen, right?
Yes, sir.
Tyler, I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like at this point you've had some time to think about
what happened.
Not only what happened, but maybe some things you could tell us to try to preserve yourself.
This was Tyler's last desperate attempt to pull himself and his brother out of trouble. Detective Decker quickly realizes what Tyler really wants from this interview: to protect Eli and salvage whatever future they have left. So he decides to give Tyler the hard truth he's been avoiding.
What you're having a really hard time with right now is that brother bond. I've got two brothers. I've got an older one and I've got a younger one. I'm in the middle, okay? And that's what's really troubling you right now, is it's your brother. And your brother murdered somebody. And you helped do that. And I think that is your biggest problem. Your biggest fear right now is that you have You've made things pretty rough for your brother. I know what brother love is, man. I've got him. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I would do for my brothers in a snap of a finger, man. You do got a long road ahead of you, though, so.
You can hear the empathy in Detective Decker's voice. He knows Sierra manipulated the brothers, but that doesn't change the facts that the Chaffins went to William's house on their own accord. Following this, Detective Decker wraps up the interview with Tyler and proceeds with murder charges against all three. As the case moves forward, Tiffany never stops supporting her sons. She stays in contact with both boys, hoping the truth will help them find a way out of this. Jail calls capture a brief glimpse into a mother caught between the children she's raised and the reality of what they've done.
Yeah, I've been trying to video Eli for the last 30 minutes, but nobody will get to the tablet.
Oh, for real?
Hey, Mom.
Hey!
What you doing?
Oh, not much. We only have a few minutes. I bet they'll cut us off at 9. But you doing all right? Did I wake you up?
No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just hanging out. It's fun here sometimes. But, like, honestly, I don't think I've laughed as hard as I have in here. Just listening to some of the bullshit.
That's good. I like to hear that.